Hi y'all, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book tag. I didn't create this, but I also can't currently remember who did, so I will tag the creator down below if I can figure out who it was. It was created back in like 2016 by, I think it was 2 people that created it. There's 14 questions. I cut the last one off because I believe the last one was something like who's your favorite like book creator or something right now, and I don't have a favorite one. I don't really watch other book creators on YouTube. There's just different things I don't agree with, and I can't listen to things. I don't really listen well to things that I don't agree with because then I have something to say and I just don't want to deal with it. As long as if it's a simple thing I don't agree with other people with, I can listen to that. But if it's a major belief of mine, I just don't. I don't like listening to it, so I'm just not. So let's get started with the questions. There's 13 of them that I have. So the first one is best book you've read so far. Originally it said 2016 because I found like the old one. Okay. But I changed it to 2026. So best book I read this year would be Peace Like a River by Leif Enger, I believe. It is such an amazing book. I would have never picked it up if I wasn't reading it for a class I was in. And so far it's been the best book. And it is about this family. Davy, the oldest son, does something that like you're like, why would you do that? But it's also like I understood why he did it, and it makes you like go over all these like morally gray things that can happen and look at it and be like, and that was the beginning of the book, and be like, no, I see why he did it, but he also shouldn't have done it. But at the same time I'm rooting for him, and it's just all these other things. But then he eventually gets arrested for what he did, but he escapes, and then his family's going to find him, and his father, I can't remember his father's name, but his father is like a Christian, and he's like really into his faith. We see this, it's told from this, not Davy's, but the other son's point of view. There's 3 siblings, Davy, Reuben, and Swade, I believe. And it's told for Reuben's point of view, and he's like a 10-year-old child. So obviously he's not the most reliable narrator, but it worked. And so one time, Reuben saw his father like praying, and he was like floating on air basically. He was walking on, I think, a truck bed, and then was just off the truck bed and walking on air, and it was so interesting. And you just see his father led by his faith and trying to find his son. And then the ending is sad. It is such a sad ending, and there's still like, it doesn't wrap everything up because there is still more questions I have, but it worked as an ending at the same time, because it's like a real life kind of thing where the ending isn't perfect. It isn't what you would think it would be, but it does work because tragically at the end something happens to the father that is really sad, and Davy actually is never caught. He's never caught, which is really interesting because it does wrap things up. You would understand, you need wrapped up, but you still can have more questions. And I just loved the book. I would highly recommend it. It was written in 2001, so like it is an older book, but that doesn't really matter because it was so good and so amazing. And then the second question is best sequel you read so far in 2026. That would have to be Vipers and Virtuouses by Sav R. Miller. It is the second in the Monsters and Muses series. It's literally like the only series book that I've read this year, so I had to pick something. And I cannot remember the characters' names at all right now. And the book's over behind you guys, and I don't feel like reaching over and grabbing it. But I remember what it was about. So there's this rock star and this girl. They meet one night at this like event or like auction thing. And then there's photos taken of them out, and there's accusations that were made that said he did something to her, but she didn't even know about any of this. She's like, no, he didn't do anything. But she can't reveal that because she's in hiding and then has to do this whole thing, and then he thinks she's gone, tracks down years later, does some stuff, but then like they fall in love and he understands, and it's a good story. I enjoyed that one. Third question is new release you haven't read yet but want to. A new release, I have all the questions answered on here, so that's why I don't have to think of them on this moment, would be In Her Own League by Liz Tomford. It is a standalone book, but it is to do with the Windy City series because it's about the girl's father from Caught Up and the new owner of like the team, who's like I believe she's the granddaughter of the current owner, but she takes over now, and they have their own little romance, and I'm really hoping to read that soon. So that's that. Number 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. It would have to be Bad Idea by Elle Kennedy, which will release on November 3rd of this year. I believe it was, who was it about? Was it about AJ and Ivy or something? I think. I don't remember, honestly. But I think it was Dean's daughter, I think it was Dean's daughter and Jake Connolly's son, I think. Or I'm totally off on that. I cannot remember. So, there's that. But that's what I'm pretty sure it's about. Okay. The biggest disappointment of the year would have to be Heartbreak for Two by C.W. Farnsworth. Because I bought this book hoping it would be amazing. And I read other books by her that were okay. I thought this was going to be amazing. And it just wasn't. And I don't know. Other people might like it, so I would still say probably read it. But I don't know, for me it just wasn't what I expected. There's just too many different things I didn't like about it, and that's kind of why it was the biggest disappointment. I'm pretty sure it was like kind of also one that I didn't really like this year, so there's that. Biggest surprise would be The Chosen by Chamy Potok. It was another one like Peace Like a River that I would have never picked up myself. I had a class. I had to read both books for a class, and The Chosen, they were both amazing, but The Chosen really did surprise me because the first chapter, they were going on about baseball, and I don't love sports. I've read a lot of sports romance, but I don't know. They're romances, so they're different. But it was just dragging on about baseball, and I didn't like that. But then once I got past the first chapter, I started to really love the book. I didn't really think I was going to, but it's so amazing because you get to see these two different father-son relationships, and both the boys, Danny and Reuben, are Jewish. Danny's a Hasidic Jewish person, I believe, and then Reuben's not. When I had to go from reading The Chosen to Peace Like a River, where there's a Reuben and The Chosen and Reuben and Peace Like a River, it was a whole thing. But Reuben, it's told from Reuben's point of view, so we had to see more of his things than Danny's. I would like to see more Danny's, but it's fine. So, because they're in two different Jewish cultures, there is big differences. Danny's is more strict, from what I understand, and Reuben's isn't. Like, obviously, they still follow, like, the Jewish practices and everything. It's just, there's different things in them, and it was so good. I am trying to find the one where it's them as, like, young adults, but it's so difficult to find, because every time I find it, it'll just go out of stock, and I'm just like, I have to read it, because I think it'll be amazing as well. And yeah, I would highly recommend The Chosen by Chamy Potok because it's so good. You learn more about these Jewish cultures. It's amazing. And then, favorite new author. I wrote Chamy Potok because, yes, he's amazing. I don't know why I wrote him, but he is amazing. It also says yeah, debuted or no, new to me. He's one of the new ones, and I also want to get another book by him, so that's kind of also the reason here. Because Leaf Anger, I don't know if he has other books, and I probably wouldn't exactly purchase other books by him, even though I love this book, the one book he had. So, newest fictional crush. I wrote Noah Caruso. This is from Even Exchange by Haley Dickert. He is the lead in it. He's the lead in that book, and he's just amazing. It was great. So he's the newest one. Now, this is my cat, Mal. Can you say hi? She is trying to jump up into my closet, and we're trying to stop that. Go this way. Okay. She's just in the area where I'm filming, so there's that. Then the 9th question is newest favorite character, Davy. Davy from Peace Like a River is definitely my newest favorite character. He is so amazing. Like, he's so complicated. He's not just amazing, he's complicated. And he did things that make you question his actions. But I had to write a whole paper on him for that class as well. And it was the moral, like, conflict of his actions. And it had to talk about why he did it, kind of. And, like, there's different psychology things. And I feel like his actions were wrong, but they were also justified because these two boys would not stop going after his family until someone did something. Because they literally... Okay, I have to kind of say this. That what they did to Davy's girlfriend at the time, horrible. And then what they did... Well, what they tried to do to Davy's girlfriend, horrible. I don't know how to exactly say this, but... swayed Davy's younger sister, so Reuben and his father were off at church. Swade and Davy were at home, but Davy was out working on Swade's birthday gift. Swade opened the front door and the two boys were there. She kind of ended up in their truck and for like a while, and then she was dropped back off at the house. And Davy found out, and like he was angry, and he said something about how long do you let like a dog bite or something until you do something? And he did something wrong, but there was no telling what those two boys would have done if Davy didn't put a stop to it. So there is that. And I liked him a lot because he was so complicated. And, okay, people love Holden from Catcher in the Rye. I hated Holden. Hated Catcher in the Rye. And Davy is kind of not similar to Holden, but he is complicated like Holden is complicated. Obviously, completely different issues. So there's that. Like, okay, guys, go read Peace Like a River. It is so good. I probably won't stop talking about that of The Chosen for like a long time. And then 10, a book that made you cry, Oaths and Omissions by Savor Miller. It was like really sad. So good. Okay, it's about these two people. They're having a fake engagement and everything, but then like at the end it was kind of sad. Like what happened to the girl was that. That's what made me cry. Okay. And then a book that made me happy, I would say Even Exchange by Haley Dickert. It was a good read. It was a happy read. It's a fun time. It wasn't my favorite book ever, but still pretty good. Most beautiful book you've bought so far this year. I would say, okay, so I bought the exclusive edition of The Mistake by Elle Kennedy, and it's my favorite. The Mistake was my least favorite book in that series. I know, like, no one really knows that, but I don't mind sharing that because people love The Mistake, and some people's favorite in the series. It's not mine. No, it wasn't mine. The guy, John Logan, I have a brother called Logan, so it's like I have to separate the two, and it was just kind of weird. It's weird reading books with people's names in it that I know, because there's Ryan's in books. I haven't really read that, but that's another brother's my name, and if it's a guy, it's hard to read, okay, because I gotta somehow separate them, and it's difficult. If it's a girl, it's fine. But The Mistake, the exclusive edition, is so gorgeous. As with the Deal and Score, but they're just not as cute as The Mistakes. I don't know why. Okay, 13. What books do you need to finish by the end of the year? I need to read the Arena Ken books. I have so many of her books, and I haven't read a single one. I like almost all of them. There's a few, there's like one or two that I don't have because they're the newer releases. I just haven't bothered buying them yet. So, yeah. This is kind of it for the mid-year book tag. So, yeah. I don't really, for the 14th one, yeah, I don't have an answer for that one because it was something like your favorite bookish content creator. I just don't watch a lot of them. And there's like 2 I'm subscribed to and I don't even watch them anymore. So, there's that. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Like and subscribe and comment down below your guys' favorite read from this year. See y'all next time. Bye!